and I think in some of your talks you've mentioned this before, that essentially the Quran or the Final Testament is three things in relation to the previous scriptures, namely the Old Testament and New Testament. Number one, it's a confirmation. Number two, it's a correction. And number three, it's a completion. So do you have any thoughts on this?
Yeah, exactly. The Quran calls itself a tasdiq, right? A musaddiq. So there's aspects of the Injil that was brought by Jesus that are confirmed in the Quran, at least affirmed in its meaning. The Quran also corrects certain aspects, and that's the function of the Quran as a muhaymin, this idea of a supervisor or a furqan. So that's another aspect of how the Quran engages with previous dispensations. Clearly, the Quran is in disagreement with, I would say, essential elements of Christian theology or Christian sort of sacred narrative, like the crucifixion. And then the Quran, is completing in the sense that it's the final revelation. It's the Quran. We have a guarantee in the Quran that it'll be preserved by God, because it is the final revelation. So God took it upon himself to preserve the final word. And so even if we find, let's say we find something in, they find these things all the time. They found the Nag Hammadi library and the Dead Sea Scrolls. Let's say that they find a writing in Aramaic in Galilee somewhere, in Nazareth, in some rubble or something like that. And it's written, like I said, in Aramaic, and it's dated to like 30, the Common Era. And okay, well, that's, and it says, I don't know, the gospel or something. Well, that's fine. The Quran supersedes all of these previous dispensations because the essence of those books are confirmed in the Quran anyway, in a fuller explanation, as the Quran says, tasdiq and a tafsil, a fuller explanation of these texts that is preserved until the day of judgment. So yeah, that's a good way of putting it there, the way you showed it.